What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Let's Play Mega Man X2. This episode is going to be the finale. At the end of last episode, we got a little cutscene introducing us to the X Hunter stages. We had a little talk with Dr. Kane. If you finish the last Maverick stage without beating all of the X Hunters for the parts you need to get to restore Zero, you get a slightly different version of that cutscene, or of that dialogue. And Dr. Kane says something to the effect of the X-Hunters attacked the base and they took whatever parts that you had gathered, and they're going off to their fortress to rebuild Zero, and that's really the only thing that changes about that cutscene. Okay, which side is this one? Okay, this is right and then left, so let me just get over on this side ahead of time. Because what I do on that segment kind of often is I jump to the other side a little bit too late and I end up catching my head on the ceiling and then I fall straight down and I don't have enough time to actually get back up. And I think this one is a straight climb up. It should be. Yes, it is. Good. And then I think there's one more section like this in this level. Okay, I got right over that one. I think there's another one. I get right over this one. No, it caught me. You can take the lower route through this level, but that way is obviously much quicker. Wait. Okay, yeah, this is the last one. I thought I had done another one. I'm like a minute into this episode and getting amnesia. Jesus. You know, back in Flamestag stage, I was kind of expressing confusion over why I wasn't making the climb as quickly as I thought I should. And I forgot that the air dash is a bit slower than just straight jump dashing, because you're only going horizontally. Whereas with jump dashing, you can kind of get some lift going. So I've been relying on that a lot in this playthrough, and that has kind of screwed me up. This is the second form of Violin. It's not really a second form, it's just an alternative version of the fight where he summons these floating blocks, and make no mistake, the introduction of that mechanic changes the fight up pretty significantly. He uses the exact same abilities, but with extra platforms and extra surfaces for that ball to ricochet off of, combined with the fact that he's now... I feel like this form is more aggressive, like he's more direct about attacking you. The fight can get very hairy very quickly. So, okay. You know, I'm almost a little satisfied that Violin didn't go smoothly, because here is where Violin could have been the biggest asshole of all. Bigger than what I've been giving him credit for. Here's where he could have demonstrated Grandmaster level trolling. So I go on and on about how random he can be, and how it can be irritating to deal with that, and then, if that fight went smoothly, along with the first time I fought him, that would essentially discredit me if he just behaved 2 fights in a row. Anyway, there's a little fun fact about Violin. Of the 3 X-Hunters, he is the only one who doesn't have an extra form. There is a slight alteration to the fight, but the other 2 X-Hunters actually have completely alternate forms with new abilities that are completely distinct from the first time we fought him in the 8 main stages. There was also originally going to be a 4th X-Hunter. They were going to be called the 4 Guardians. And the 4th X-Hunter was going to be a woman. And I believe that they were cut due to some sort of technical limitations. And they were also going to be introduced way earlier in the series. I think they were going to be introduced back in X1. But they were kind of stripped down piecemeal style. And the parts were then kind of coalesced into what we come to know as Sigma. And you can see traits of each individual X-Hunter in Sigma's design. Like, you can very clearly see Agile's head is the basis for Sigma's head, and stuff like that. If you go across on the right up there where that spike pit is, there is kind of a tricky long jump that you're meant to, I think, air dash and charged up speed burner over. But I think all it nets you is an extra life, and I don't really want or need that. I might, actually, because I'm going to be fighting the second form of Surges, and this fight is more technical than the first Surges fight. And with that increased technicality, it comes a little bit more difficulty. So, the way this fight works is he has 4 cannons, and there are 4 floating platforms alternating up and down. Each cannon fires a specific projectile, and what projectile he fires or what cannon he fires from depends on your position. And you have to take out each cannon before he actually becomes attackable himself. So the top one fires out that bouncing plasma egg, I'm gonna say? The bottom one fires out just a straight, fast-moving laser beam. The second one from the bottom fires out, let's see, that's the one that fires out the little homing orb, and then the second from the top fires out the blue frisbee. Oh god, this is going so fucking poorly. Ugh. I really hate this positioning. I need to get back and... Oh, it knocked me back. So this, I have to shut up a little bit, because this is not going nearly as well as I want it to. Ooh. Come on. Let me just get back up top. If I can regain top position in this, I'll feel okay. Okay, so the only real trick about this is that every time you destroy one of his cannons in the first phase of the fight, he inches forward with that big moving vehicle, and he'll destroy a platform. So it leaves you with only 2 platforms to fight on for this phase of the fight, but he only does this attack during this phase. So it kind of evens out the complexity a little bit. And you can see every time he fires that green orb out, it explodes in one of 2 directions, and it alternates every time. It's either going to be cardinal directions or corners. And if you're stuck in a position where you're below where he fires the orbs, like I was at the start of that phase, then it can be a lot trickier to dodge then. If you can get up top, it's not nearly as bad. The other thing is, big weakness is the charged up Sonic Slicer. What else? Oh, you can actually get 3 platforms available for Phase 2, and the way you do that is by using the Giga Crush at the very start of the fight, and that instantly destroys all of his cannons, and he doesn't itch forward and destroy every, 2 of the 4 platforms. So you wind up with an extra one to work with. Let's see, what else about that fight? There's a lot going on there. As you saw in the first phase of that fight, the Silk Shot, the weapon from Morph Moth, is actually really, really powerful. Not just on that fight, it's not like a specific weakness of the cannons, that's not why they died so fast. It just happens to be a ludicrously powerful weapon. Just for, like, raw damage output. And, actually, come to think of it, there was a way easier way I could have gone through doing Surges Phase 2. And it didn't even occur to me to start doing this until just now, because my mind was kind of elsewhere. But you can actually place yourself so one foot is hanging in the air, and the other is planted on one of the platforms. And because the platforms alternate up and down, the lowest you'll ever go that way is just above mid-screen, and you never actually have to move, save for very rarely. There's one little position he can fire his green orb into that will require you to move briefly. But other than that, it's not too bad to fight him that way. It requires virtually no effort on your part. You just have to keep charging the slicer, keep firing away, and occasionally look out for the one position where you can take damage, and that's about it. This screen right here, I believe I mentioned as being... Well, this screen coming up is one of the hardest in the game that I mentioned, I think, last episode. It's not this one, it's just past this. You just hang on to the edge, cling to the edge, air dash over and over and over, make a small jump and air dash. This is where this is the trickiest part of the game, because you have to navigate that maze of spikes. Let me cut to the successful attempt real quick. Alrighty. Let's try again. There we go, thank God. So I actually had to do that twice because I forgot about something. To get to the secret capsule, in order for the capsule to be available, just like when you get the Hadouken from Armored Armadillo stage, you have to be at full health when you get to the area. I had 1 point of damage taken off from, I think, one of the bats, and so I did that and got down here and facepalmed so hard that my head is throbbing. And now we get the Shoryuken! And just like the Hadouken, to activate the Shoryuken, it mirrors the input that you need to do in Street Fighter. I was trying just now to show off the other way, the easier way to get up there and do that, but I kind of screwed that up. So if you dash jump, and at the very, very peak of your jump arc, you activate the Giga Crush. Also, you have to jump off one of these guys crystallized in the Crystal Hunter. And you activate Giga Crush at the peak of your jump arc. Then the Giga Crush will give you just barely enough of a boost to get up and cling to the wall and make your way up the way you're supposed to come down. But doing it the hard way is more fun anyway. Now we come to the third and final X-Hunter, the final refight of the X-Hunters, I guess you could say. And this is also by far the easiest one. And of course, because I said it's the easiest one, the first thing I do in the fight is take damage. There we go. For some reason ooh. Okay, so he's done almost all of his attacks. I think that it looks like some kind of black hole. That attack always alternates sides, so let's see if it comes to this side next. I don't know what that means when he turns red. Like, I'm pretty sure he always follows up turning red with doing the platform drop, the spike platform drop. By the way, when you get hit by that, oh, you already saw. So you already know that you don't get killed instantly by those spikes. If you fall through the gap, though, to the spiked floor, you will die instantly. You'll just take damage from those when they fall on you, though. So whenever he turns red, he always is preparing to drop platforms on your head. But sometimes he just does it without that warning anyway, so I don't know what the point of him turning red occasionally is. Also, I'm pretty sure he doesn't... Also, he doesn't have another phase to this fight. He doesn't gain any extra abilities at low health. It's just this over and over and over again, so not too big of a deal. He looks goofy as hell, too. Okay, just a couple more magnet mines. I'm using his weakness just to speed the fight up. It doesn't do anything crazy to him, like it doesn't put him in a big, long reel animation. It doesn't do insane amounts of damage, it just makes it go a bit quicker. Now we come to the fourth of the X-Hunter stages. This is probably going to be the longest one because, unlike in X1, they did away with gradually introducing you to all of the main 8 Maverick refights, and they just did what they did in vanilla and stuck a whole bunch in a room, and you just fight them all together all at once. Magna Centipede. His weakness is the Silk Shot that you get from Morph Moth. So the easiest way to approach this is you can just stand in the middle of the room. Oh, he didn't disappear right away. Just stand in the middle of the room and shoot on the opposite side if he's in one of the upper corners that he appears on. That way the debris will fly at him just like that. Shoot the opposite corner. when he fires the shurikens off, don't do what I did just now. Go towards the side that he's on. Let's see. Like that. There we go. Thank you, Magna Centipede. You're being very cooperative. Also, if you notice when you shoot him with the junk... I almost called it the junk bolt. I think that's Junkman's weapon from 7. Man, I don't know why X2 is making me think of Mega Man 7 so much. Anyway, when you shoot him with the silk shot, the first shot you do destroys his tail. Ah, I missed him. Oh well. Not gonna miss twice. And I believe destroying his tail makes him unable to do 2 of his 3 attacks. I think it disables him from doing his the attack where he sucks you in and takes away your abilities, and it also removes his ability to send the hovering spiked segments of his tail at you for that attack, where all of the spiked parts of his tail converge on you. I really don't remember which capsule is which, so... Flame Stag. I believe his weakness is Bubble Splash. Oh my god, am I remembering weapon names? What's going on here? Watch this not be called the Bubble Splash. So unlike with Agile, when you hit Flame Stag with his weakness, it locks him into a pattern, like most of the main bosses. And this is the pattern. He will just kind of lazily toss blue flames at you. Interesting thing to note about the refights in this. When you refight the bosses, they start out with their desperation attacks from the very beginning of the fight. Like, Flame Stag's desperation attack was not necessarily gaining a new move, but his flames turned from red to blue the first time we fought him and he hit low health. And I think all that does is it gives him increased damage output for all of his attacks. When you refight him, he starts out with the blue flames. It's like a big blue flame hellion. God, I would love for them to replace Hellbats with Flame Stag. That'd be sick. I'm kind of upset that they're nerfing Hellbats now. Because if you watch someone like Innovation with his Hellbat drops, man, that is a thing of beauty. People call Hellbat drops in TVT boring to watch, but you get someone with good enough micro between the Hellbats and their dropship micro and pulling workers in every direction and dropping right on top of them after they baited the workers into a certain position. Oh, it's a thing of beauty. Really disappointed that they're getting nerfed. Still though, like, people are still gonna end up making Hellbats. Like, just because they buff Cloak so that it costs what, like I think it's 100 less gas, maybe 100 less gas and 100 less minerals? I really don't think people are gonna wind up using Banshees that much more, and people are just gonna wait till they have Blue Flame for the Hellbats now, before they start dropping Hellbats everywhere. I don't think it's gonna change all that much. I hope it doesn't. I really like watching those. Anyway, while I was going on about Heart of the Swarm, Crystal Snail, he's dead. His weakness was the Magnet Mine from Magna Centipede. It disables the shit out of him. Except for when I take, like, insane amounts of damage that I shouldn't be taking. Oh, I get hit in the stupidest ways on that refight, too. Like, I always get hit when he flies across the room after you take his shell off. So goofy. And, obviously, Flame... Oh, damn it. I was doing so well with the weapon names. What was that? Flame Spin? Flame Wheel? Fuck it, I don't care. And I should be able to end this phase of the fight with just one cycle, I hope. I'm gonna get hit by... Oh, no, I'm not. I could have sworn he was gonna start in the other direction. No, I was gonna get hit by it. I didn't expect it to keep revolving. Sometimes he just uses the junk beam for one revolution, and sometimes it's like 3 or 4. Randomness. Let me get up the wall and force him up a little bit so he's not on my ass. Yay! Finally, the second phase of Morph Moth goes relatively well for me, and it only took me abusing the boss's weakness for that to happen. Fucking fantastic. Oh, who is next? Who's next? Who haven't I done? I haven't done Wire Sponge, Ostrich, Gator, who else? Oh, well, I'm doing Ostrich now. Actually, I haven't been paying attention to how many I've killed. I don't know if I've killed 4 or 5 of them. Uh-oh. So his weakness is the Crystal Hunter, and again, it freezes him in place and forces him into this pattern where he keeps using this attack over and over and over again. Ooh, that was pretty close. One more. One more? What the hell am I thinking? Man, I don't know why I thought his health was so much lower than it was. Oh, I took a hit because I thought if I jumped up, I could actually catch him in midair before he even got a chance to fire those off. Oh well. Charge it up, Sonic Slicers. Oh, actually, I can get enough air to do that. It's just he's still invulnerable while he's in the air, and it kind of just deflects Big Loogie. I think we still have Wheel Gator and Wire Sponge, and I can't remember if we have another one after that. Let's see. Flame Stag, Snail, Centipede are dead, Ostrich. Shit. Shit. Bubble Crab is still alive! Hey, Bubble Crab! Oh, look, there are spikes in the ceiling. It is just like a... Oh man, I still can't remember his name. It's not Bubble Man, it's not Splash Man, I don't think. Burst Man? Is it Burst Man in Mega Man 7? Still, I wish there was... Oh god, he gets like ridiculously aggressive when he takes a hit from his weakness. The only real reason to use his weakness here is because it pops his bubble, so there's less of a need to manipulate his pattern by jumping over him. You can just kind of fire and forget. Except when that happens, so I think actually manipulating him so that he keeps doing his upwards shoulder charge with the glowing energy crab shoulders might actually be more effective than using his weakness. He certainly seems to get, like, aggressive as hell after he takes damage from the wheel. So I think on the left might be Wheel Gator, and then top right is probably Wire Sponge. That's gonna be my guess. Right? No! Shit! It's the opposite. Is the complete fucking opposite. Let's see if I can get the quick kill. No. Damn. I didn't hold the button down. So there's a way you can do a quick kill on Wheel Gator, and pretty much you have to hit him right off the bat. You have to hold the button down, so as soon as you become active, as soon as the fight goes live, you hit him, and then it's a little bit tricky timing things out so that you can keep hitting him, because as soon as you hit him, you can see he sinks into the oil again. But if you time it just right, you can get another hit off, and it resets his real animation, and you can just keep resetting the animation long enough to make him vulnerable again, and keep going and going and going, and you will get a very, very quick kill on him. Fortunately, it didn't work out that time. Next time he surfaces, I'll try again. Oop. Damn it. I'm so bad at timing that. Come on, Wheel Gator, give me another chance. Thanks. Fuck you. Damn it. Oh, Wheel Gator is being so goddamn trolly. Hate you, Wheel Gator. I want a divorce. Thank you. There we go. Up. Okay, it's happening. Just like this. Finally found my rhythm. Don't leave me, Wheel Gator. I didn't mean what I said. You know I love you, baby. Last up is Wire Sponge. Fight didn't go so well the first time I fought him, which is really weird because, for all intents and purposes, Wire Sponge is the easiest fight in the fucking game. So any fight easier than him No, Wire Sponge is pretty much it. That is one thing I do like about X1, because even the... Well, technically, the very first boss is easier. The one you fight in the tutorial intro stage, but not gonna count him. That is one thing that I really like about X2 is... it's not super difficult. I've never really thought of any of the Mega Man games as being particularly tough. But this one provides a pretty good challenge sometimes, especially the harder bosses like Surgus and... Well, both forms of Surgus, really. The first form of Sigma in this one is also a lot of fun. Again, not like the hardest game ever, but there is a satisfying challenge here, especially if you're doing like a non-100% run. My favorite runs of this are no armor upgrades, no heart containers, no sub-tanks, no weaknesses, where you just have to go with what you have from the very beginning. Those can actually get really, really, really fun, really challenging. It's the perfect kind of game to impose challenges on yourself to make the game just that much more difficult. And this is one of the only things that I really passionately dislike about X2, is that instead of the final stage of the game being unique, having its own unique, cool atmosphere, like the ascent to Sigma at the end of X1, you just kind of go through the beginning of Magna Centipede stage again, and that's not really that fun. It's not that it's not fun, it's a cool stage, but I don't know, the final stage of the game deserves something a little more ceremonious, a little more grandiose than this. But the fact that the first form of Sigma is so fun kind of makes up for that. So that's easily forgivable. This is where the big difference comes in, depending on whether or not you have recovered all of Zero's parts from the X-Hunters previously, or whether you didn't. So if you did recover all of Zero's parts, you see the gray Zero here show up alongside Sigma, and then, hey, our good old buddy Zero, who's been rebuilt by Dr. Kane, comes in to save the day so that we don't have to fight the fake gray Zero. And there's also, I think, a little bit of alternate dialogue at the end of, I want to say, the second form of Sigma, but we'll get to that in a moment. So before... Oh wait, there's still some more dialogue here. Let's just go through that real quick. So by gathering all of Zero's parts from the X-Hunters, Zero allows us to skip a boss fight and punches a hole straight in the ground so that we can go straight on to Sigma, but before we do that, I'm gonna cut away to what happens if you don't do that. The alternate way that this whole scenario plays out. So if you don't recover all of Zero's parts, you have to fight Zero, the real Zero. And he's more or less mind-controlled. These are his only two attacks. Don't be deceived by how simple this looks. Again, it's simple, but the pace is fairly quick. Like, you have to be pretty quick about reacting, getting your shots off, and then getting right back onto the wall and preparing for him to charge across the screen to punch the floor and send all that debris at you. Ooh, misjudged it a little bit. Mistimed it. It is very repetitive, but surprisingly fun fight. Ooh. I was hoping he wouldn't get another hit off on me. The only thing I don't like about the X-Buster upgrade in this game is that the stored shot, the more powerful shot when you are fully charged in glowing purple, is that there's a noticeable delay when you let go of the button to fire, or when you hit the button. And it's not an input delay, but there's some slow startup animation, and with a fight like this, it can kind of put you in a bad position, which is why you don't see me using it all that often. And when I am fully charged, I tend to let the charge go. I discard it. Specifically for that reason, that I don't want to be on the ground shooting a weapon that is a delay when Zero attacks so quickly. Finally, when you get him down... Oh, I thought that was gonna hit. He blocked it. Okay, here we go. When you get him down to 1 health, he comes back to his senses. So yeah, all that really changes is that you get this extra boss fight against Zero, and it's a bit of a fun one. It's repetitive but fast-paced, and I like it. Also gives you an idea of how badass Zero was before X4, before they started giving him voice acting. Anyway, on with your regularly scheduled Sigma fight. Now we just jump down the hole. Jump down the rabbit hole. How did we get in this room? There's a ceiling in the room. We fell down a big hole. What's going on here? So like I said, I really like the first form of Sigma here. He does that. Whenever he teleports away and he teleports back into the room, he always teleports into the position you're currently at. So as soon as you see him re-enter the screen, just dash away and you usually won't get hit like that. When he takes a swipe at you with his claws, he'll bounce you all over the room. You'll hit the wall in the ceiling. I think you take damage both times. You don't get any recovery frames or recovery invincibility when that happens. Oh, come on there. And he also has the glowing pink projectiles that home in on you. There's a slight delay, and they home in on your last position, so you just wait until they fire and dodge. Easier said than done, because there are 5 coming at you, all one after another. Okay, I can just dash right across to the other side of the screen. This is his attack that he gets when he's low on health. It's pretty much the charged version of the electric spark that you get from Spark Mandrill in the last game, and it's even complete with the exact same sound effect. Beautiful sound effect too. Makes me so nostalgic. Come on, just one more dodge. Okay, whenever he re-enters the screen this far, the fight's over. This went pretty well, I'm surprised. I usually take a bit more damage than this on this form of Sigma, so I'm not gonna complain. Yeah, that was only about, what, 3 hits? Not gonna complain about that too much. If I was doing this low percent, I would be fucking dead. Also, I don't think I've used a sub-tank yet. I'm kind of happy with that. And now we have more of the CX4 chip gimmickry. What I don't mind about this gimmick, though, is that it's not super offensive or intrusive. Like, I've railed against some developer opinions on the Wii U for this reason, because there's this mentality that, ooh, shiny new tablet controller. If we don't base our whole game around a series of gimmicks that shows all of the possibilities of this tech off, all of them at once, what's the point of making a game on it? The same thing happened with the Vita. It's like that Batman Arkham City Armored Edition syndrome. And devs have tried to utilize every aspect of the Vita, and that has led to a lot of unfocused mediocrity. The Vita and the Wii U tablet, I should say. And it's kind of understandable for first-party stuff, like Sony and Nintendo want to show off all of the features of their stuff, like all of the gimmicky things that they can do, but devs aren't content with just porting games or just treating it as a novelty. They have to focus their entire game around some gimmick that's more of a distraction. As completely just not really super necessary use of the Giga Crush, but I just want to use it. Avoid the damage with the invisibility frames and clear the one enemy off the screen. Also, you notice I'm taking a ton of damage in this phase. It's because you don't really have to play all that conservatively. You don't have to play... I was gonna say you don't have to play to win. You don't really have to play to avoid the damage, because he sends all these ads out in this phase, and they can drop health and energy capsules. So you're usually not, as long as you're coming into the fight at a decent amount of health, you can take all the damage you want as long as you're killing the ads and you're pretty much in no direct danger. So he only has those two attacks where he summons the ads, and then he goes to one side of the room, leaves enough of a gap at the top of the room for you to air dash over him, and he fires a laser that goes along the floor. If you find yourself in a position where you can't avoid taking any damage at all, like if you can't get to the other side of the room, or you're caught off guard or something and you can't make it up the wall in time, what you should do is you should dash into his head. You should intentionally take damage from his head instead of taking damage from the beam, because you only take 1 point of damage from the head, and you take, like, I want to say it's like 5 or 6 from the beam, so... Word to the wise. And you will take way less damage on that fight. Take way less if you just avoid everything altogether, but again, you don't really have to do that. And it's not my favorite version of, it's not my favorite final form of Sigma, but if you average out how much I like the first form and the second form, probably my favorite Sigma fight. Let's see, which second form of Sigma was the best one? Probably X1. I'm trying to remember X3s because I don't play that X3 that much. Oh, right, X3 was, what was it, Kaiser Sigma? In the big purple mech? So X2 ends much the same way that X1 ended. The way the end shot here is composed, because X's Giga Armor has the same color scheme going on as Zero, it looks like Zero has his arm on X's shoulder, but it's actually just the shoulder pad, I think. Trying to see how that's composed, or if it's X is in the background and Zero is more towards the foreground. I can't tell. It kind of looks like Zero has a big deformed lobster claw. So it ends pretty much on the same note as X1, with X looking out over the sea, and, well, he wasn't looking out over the sea in the last one. It's him looking out into the distance, wondering, will the fighting ever end? It feels a little more lighthearted in this one. In the last one, it was kind of like a weird tone shift at the bitter end. And it's time for me to... Time to realize all the names of enemies I didn't know before. And since they're not matched to the sprites, I'm still not going to remember the names. Man, some of those bullshit names I came up with last episode were not exactly worse than these. So while you're riding through... There's one little... There are a few alterations that occur depending on how you beat the game at this point. So there's one secret ending that I haven't alluded to at all. It's not much, it's mostly an Easter egg. So, if you beat the game without collecting any of the armor upgrades, then while this part of the game is going on, while this sequence in the end is going on and you're riding through on the speeder bike in Overdrive Ostrich's stage watching the credits roll, Zero actually pops up, and he'll speed alongside you, you'll pass him by. And then the other alteration to the ending here is that if you don't collect all of Zero's armor pieces, the gray version of Zero shows up at the very ending. But that's going to do it for the finale to Mega Man X2, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, tell your friends, favorite it, comment. Am I missing any of that stuff? No, I'm not. Be sure to tune in for Dark Souls that should be coming up next on the channel. And then I'll be doing some more adventures, some more LA Noire, and might even start X3 earlier than I planned. Haven't played X3 in a good long while. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy. Have a good one.